Ooh. Ooh. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Gordo Gables here, joined by this beauty of a man, Q-Road. How we doing today after last week's card, man?
I think, again, we're doing pretty well this week after last week's card. I mean, obviously on paper, it wasn't a great card in terms of the kind of level of the fights, but in the end, it ended up being a really entertaining night of UFC.
Man, that head kick KO against DePaula there, cashing our Cheyenne buys plus 450 on a distance ticket. There were just some unbelievable finishes. Stolte got starched in the first round, so many things. There's at one point, I think it was like favorites in the UFC were like 0-7, and it's like, okay, well, what do you want us to do? Well, it was an absolutely wild card, not the best from a DFS perspective. We kind of missed the mark for the first time in a while, but that's okay. We bounced back. Is my plane really loud in the background? Yeah, we're coming back at an absolutely beauty of a card. UFC 265, Gane versus Lewin for the interim title belt. Now, we're not going to get into the politics whether there should be an interim title or not. You know what we're going to do? We're going to ignore the planes in the background while my boy Kiro talks about this card.
Yeah, and I mean, with the card last week, that's exactly what we said it was going to be like. We said it's a card of a lot of people who aren't as well known, which means it's going to be scrappy. There's going to be a lot of upsets, and that's exactly what happened. This week is one of those high-profile weekends in the UFC. There's a lot more exciting fights. There's a lot more big names. Derek Lewis is one of our favorite fighters personally.
Derek, why'd you take your pants off?
My balls was hot.
I understand.
What would you be doing if you weren't a fighter?
Probably doing porn star, being a porn. Because that was one of my passions.
I mean, come on.
When I was a 15-year-old little kid, you know, whenever I first learned how everything go, that was one of my passions growing up.
And we got some other big fighters that we love on this card too. Fazeev, man. Like, Fazeev's performances have been incredible in the UFC, and we're excited to see him fight again.
I want to say to everyone in my division, just guys, train more hard.
It's another UFC card, so you know what that means? We'll be giving back to the community here. We'll be doing a nice little $25 entry. All I need to do is like our tweet on Gordo Gambles or place fades, whatever would you like to, and comment your DraftKings username down below. We'll get another contest going. It was lots of fun last time. Let's see if you guys can outwit us there.
And to clarify, we don't mean $25 entry. We mean free entry for a chance at $25.
Free entry, maybe get lucky, win a nice little $25 entry to next week's card, you know, just $25 PayPal, have a good time. And without further ado, let's get into it. I want to start us off. What do you think about the main event this weekend?
This main event, again, is one that personally I do not like a lot from a DFS perspective. We've seen Gane in his last few performances, definitely one of the best heavyweights in this division. He deserves the rank that he has, but every fight where he's against somebody with big power, what does he do? He tiptoes around them, he stays out of the pocket, he comes in for a little jab and then he comes back out. He doesn't really close distance and kind of leave himself open to those big KOs, which is what Derek Lewis is known for, right? That's exactly what Derek Lewis wants, right? He knows that he's not as in shape, or his cardio might not be as good as Gane, so he's going to try to close that distance, I would assume, and come in and try to get those KOs. But Gane is so good at avoiding that, and he's so good at winning these decisions just from the fact that he'll land more strikes than an opponent. That's exactly what he did with Rozenstruik. Not a very entertaining fight to watch because he would just dance in and out and he wouldn't get hit. So on the Derek Lewis side, it's true that, you know, you could have some huge upside if he does that KO. But Gane has been very good in his previous fights at avoiding that. So on Gane's side, he's probably going to stay away. And that means that he could get this win without scoring very many points. So not necessarily one that I love on either side.
Yeah, man, you talked about that perfectly. You have a guy in Gane who's just he's gonna point fight for you. And you know what? Fair play to him. He's winning these decisions by being smarter than his opponents, but he's not scoring very high. His last fight against Volkov, only 85 fan points. That's not something we want to see for someone at 9.4K. Now, he does have the chance to finish, but I think he's gonna be safe here because Lewis does have that one-shot power that we've never seen before, really. It's unique. It's his style. He could be losing the fight until he lands one punch, and that's all he needs. It's Derek Lewis. It's the Black Beast, man. You've seen him come back so many times. Volkov, another fighter that happened there too, and he scores big when he wins, so he might be a great punt play at 6.8K, but it's going to be tough because we know how good Gane is at avoiding those punches, whereas he is smart enough to do that. It's not going to score him points if he does win by that decision. So I'm honestly predicting a very boring decision fight, unfortunately, so I'm not really be owning him that much, but it's hard to ignore the upside that Derek Lewis has at such a low price tag if he does land that shot.
Yeah, for sure. At 6,800, if he gets that knockout, huge value, and you're going to need that if you want to hit an optimal lineup. But the chances that he does that against Gane, I feel like, are just very low because Gane's so good at staying out of those situations.
Moving on, because like you said, we got to get those value plays to hit our optimal lineup. My favorite value play of the week is going to be Michael Chiesa, sitting over here, sitting pretty at $7,700 on DraftKings. Now he's facing a guy in Luque who has been dominating on the ground. He's been controlled, he's been settled in there, and Chiesa has looked phenomenal his last fights. I mean, controlling a guy like Magny for as much as he did, controlling someone in Dos Santos who I think is much more dangerous than Luque is. I know Luque has that incredible chin. He's going to stand and want to brawl, but Chiesa is smart enough. He's going to know that he needs to take it to the ground. And the same way Luque was controlled in previous fights, I think Chiesa can do here. And we know control time is huge on DraftKings at such a low price tag. I think it's really worth a shot at him here at 7.7K. Great value play, and it saves up for some bigger guys on top. Now, at the same time, getting those value plays lets me save up for my favorite player of this week. It's going to be Munos, sitting at $9,100. And you might think, who's Munos? On such a stacked card, so many good shots, so many great fighters. Why are we taking this guy who's second fight of the night, gonna come in really slow? Actually, he's the first fight of the night. It's because he has so much upside. He's facing a guy in Simmons who was brought on because of the COVID era. He was brought on to give a highlight reel to our boy Giga Chikadze. And Munos is legit. He's got some suffocating top control, amazing BJJ, and we've seen he's been able to stand on the feet against Nate Maness. Only reason he's lost last time out was because of that point deduction by Maness. So if you look at a guy in Munos who's got a ton of upside, I personally think he finished this fight, and he's not even at the top range of fighters. We can fit guys in like Chiesa, who isn't the cheapest underdog, but is still an underdog. He just has so much upside there at $9,100. I think he finishes early, and I'm excited to see him perform. So sitting at 9.1K, that's a great. Sitting at 9.1K, Munos is a great value play up top. No, he's not. So sitting at 9.1K. How many times am I going to say it? Okay, what is he called? Great pay up option. So sitting at 7. Oh, it's been such a long day. Okay.
The sleep's getting to you.
Okay, so sitting pretty at 9.1K, Munos is a great pay-up option here. I think he finishes Simmons, but we have another fighter up top sitting at 9.3K. Tell me a bit about Fazeev this week.
One of our favorite fighters in the UFC, Raphael Fazeev, 9,300, big favorite in this fight, but he's a big favorite for a good reason. We like him this week because he's fighting Bobby Green. Both of these guys are stand-up fighters, and we've seen Fazeev absolutely destroy people on the feet, right? His kicks are incredible and his stand-up is very good. We've seen him piece people apart, and that's Bobby Green's comfort zone, right? Maybe Bobby Green is smart and decides to try to take down Fazeev in this fight, but if he stays on the feet with him, we don't think he's got much of a chance. And landing so many significant strikes, Fazeev is going to be worth his value here, even though it does have a pretty big price tag at 9,300. We love Fazeev, we're big fans, but that's not why we think he's a good option. He's going to be worth his value here.
Yeah, and Bobby Green has shot for takedowns recently. We know Fazeev has great takedown defense because he's just an all-around amazing athlete. His kickboxing is elite. His speed is just so much faster than Green, and I think that's why he's going to win the decision on the feet. And honestly, he could put him out. Bobby Green was knocked out by Poirier in 2016. I know, long time ago, different fighter now, but Fazeev is legit on the feet, and he's not some impenetrable man with. He's not some man with impenetrable.
Yeah, that's a word.
Sorry, let me restart that. He's not some invincible man out there. He's been finished before, but I don't think Green's got to do that, and I think Fazeev takes his fight all day.
Big price tag though at 9,300. What's the next underdog play that we like?
I mean, there's not many underdogs on this slate that I'm absolutely loving, but Vincent Morales is one of them who I'm definitely putting up there in my underdog plays this week. He's facing Gane Rodriguez, who's we've seen be finished recently, and he's got a lot of flaws on the feet, and we've we see as Morales as maybe the guy to exploit that this week. I mean, Dracovic just finished by Sahibi in the first round. He's got some potent stand-up in terms of a lot of power, but he leaves a lot of holes in his game, and I think Morales is going to be able to exploit them in this fight. I think Morales is, if he does win, he probably does finish in the spot. I mean, we've seen Draco's chin been touched recently. Maybe they do it again. I think that out of all the underdogs in the slate, I think there's a lot of upside for Morales. I am liking him here. If you want to pay down even lower, I mean, we talked about Dos Santos a few weeks ago. I mean, his fight just got rebooked. I think that John should win this fight, but Dos Santos has so much potential for a high-scoring thing because I think the only way he wins is a sub off his back, and we know that his opponent's probably going to shoot for some takedowns, and if it does end up on the mat, you never know what's going to happen. But back to Morales, I think that at 7.7k, he's a great option there, and out of everyone on the slate, I'm definitely going to pick him up.
You got to take your underdogs where you can get them, and 7,800 is still a good price tag if you see upside on somebody.
Now, if you look at the middle of the pack, there are a couple fighters we're liking there as well. I mean, Casey Kenny, I think he gets it done this week. I know you talked about our boy Song Yadong, absolute legend, but I think Casey Kenny really shines through this week at 8.2k. If you want to pay up for another option, a GPP option could be Alonzo Menafield. I mean, he has that round one upside. I'm not the biggest fan of Herman, but I think that Herman's only chance is to survive. So if Menafield does get a win, it should come early. It should score pretty high. And like we said earlier, Derek Lewis is the punt play of the week, man. 6.8k. If he wins, he's on the optimal lineup right there. Like we said earlier, it's not the most likely of outcomes, but it's something that I'm definitely going to have a little bit of ownership in.
Yeah, punt play of the century right there.
Hey, I mean, we took him to beat Blades, and look where that got us. We won a lot of money that night.
That's true.
If anyone's been following us since then, big ups to you guys. But no, that pretty much wraps up who we're going to like this weekend. We will be posting lineups this weekend as we always do. We'll be posting our bets this weekend as we always do as well, hoping for another very profitable night. As for the DraftKings contest, like I said, leave a like on the video, drop your DraftKings username down below, and check out our Twitters. I mean, we'll be posting more stuff like this. We want to get back to you guys because you've been absolute gems to us. We want to make some more money, so let's do that together.